Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Perfect World based on novel. So let's start. Soon after, Shahao sensed that there were all types of auras outside the mountain gate. They were all powerful. He discovered several hundred divine wills roaming about nearby. Who are they? Shahao frowned. Naturally, the experts of various sects. You cut down you. These news stirred up a huge storm. After they learned that Huang was here, many people wanted to come here to take a look. You've already become a celebrity. Second Baldy chucked, putting on a rather vulgar appearance before adding with a soft voice. There are no lack of beauties among them, are there beauties in the peacock race? Get lost. That's my backyard. You even dare to set your eyes on Peacock Clan's beauties. Be careful that I don't report it to the Divine Lord and have you crippled. The two spouted nonsense and randomly bickered. The outside, however, was not calm at all. Soon after, a sincere and honest-looking little fatty arrived in front of the mountain gate. He had a steam bun-like face, his large eyes pure like crystals. He had a rather bashful appearance. What family's kid is this? You can tell he's naive and feeble-minded with just a look. Wouldn't even know it if he was sold off. Second Baldy immediately became amused upon seeing him. Shahao revealed a strained expression, and then he said, I reckon that he has the ability to even sell you off. He didn't think this little fatty as someone pure. In Origin Sky Secret Realm, this fella had a black heart and black hands, directly trapping exceptional talents. However, he still gave off the feeling of being harmless. It was precisely Cao Yusheng. This fella also came. Come over and drink with us. Shahao called him over. This fatty is extremely formidable. Second Baldy was suspicious. The little fatty laughed bashfully and said, I am just a small supreme expert, haven't even grown up yet. Less nonsense. You have the higher realm's third killing formation engraved in your body, and can release chaotic sword energy, able to easily trap and kill exceptional talents, yet you still dare to spout this kind of bullshit. Shahao directly exposed him. This damn fatty had even conned him and Grandpa 15. Second Baldy was immediately shocked. He widened his eyes and said, Motherfucker, the third killing formation is engraved in his body. My clan doesn't even have this. Damn fatty, you are definitely one of those freaks that have been hibernating until now, right? Right, he is precisely a freak. Saying how he was going to enter some ruins to find the second killing formation, and also engrave that in his body. Right at this moment, a palm-sized snow-white little rabbit jumped over, her eyes like gemstones as she cried out. In addition, its mouth had a stalk of medicine that was shining and releasing a clear fragrance. Shahao's eyes immediately became round. He angrily said, Rabbit, you dare steal my soon-to-be holy medicine. He was so angry he ran after it. These past few days, he opened up a medicinal field in the most sacred place of this mountain gate, planting a few spiritual medicines inside. There was even a soon-to-be holy medicine in there. As a result, this rabbit had unknowingly muddled its way in, and like a radish, nibbled it a few times, almost eating it completely. Second Baldy's eyes immediately widened. This was a soon-to-be holy medicine we were talking about. When it saw Shahao throw itself over, the snow-white little rabbit screamed out, in Origin Sky Secret Realm, you were still trying to steal my stalk of holy medicine. So stingy. It was precisely the lunar jade hare. She was supposedly the race's supreme being's younger sister, but many people suspected that this was the supreme being herself. Shahao was embarrassed. In the end, he stopped. After all, this rabbit, Cao Yusheng, and himself had fought many enemies together, so they could be said to have experienced trials and tribulations together. The palm-sized snow-white rabbit turned into an extremely tender little girl, who was pretty like a porcelain doll. This was especially the case with her pair of eyes that were red like gemstones. Second Baldy's eyes were about to pop out from staring at her. These people sat in the mountain region, roasting vicious beasts and drinking wine. Of course, this little rabbit said that it wouldn't eat meat in a glorified manner, devouring Shahao's medicinal garden into a terrible state. Fortunately, he left the wondrous medicine and several stalks of holy medicine with Grandpa 15, or else the losses would be too severe. Towards this, the little fatty Cao Yusheng understood deeply. He spoke out with sympathy. When she has nothing to do, she always runs to Great Peng Mountain. Other rabbits kick eagles, she kicks great golden-winged pengs every day. Towards this, Peng Lord even began to complain, personally paying Lunar Jade Rabbit's clan elder a visit. Nonsense. I only go a few months out of the year to protect the mountain and tend to the pengs. The little girl corrected, motherfucking freaks. Second Baldy discovered that the fatty and large, ruby-eyed little girl couldn't be looked at like normal people at all. By the way, the limelight on you is too great. This isn't some good thing, especially after Tao Master Chi said that all supreme experts and divine flame realm experts can come challenge you. Quite a few people have now become restless. Who else dares to come? These individuals drank while chatting carefreely. This issue was raised. There will always be those that will hate. From what I know, someone might pay you a visit while carrying a great killing weapon. There are even various exceptional talents from the divine flame realm coming. The little fatty said. Shahao's expression changed. This world's divine flame realm exceptional talents were few in number, because almost everyone did everything they could to suppress their cultivation realms, so that they could obtain the great natural luck in the great decisive battle of 3,000 provinces. They really are shameless. Second Baldy said, revealing a serious expression, no harm, the gathering of 100 rivers is about to start. After I come back from participating in it, who knows, I might already be at the heavenly deity realm. Shahao laughed and said, be a bit more careful, someone truly vicious might come, is that so? Shahao was moved when he heard this. Immortal Palace's inheritor has come, and there is also the holy lady from Heaven Mending sect. The little fatty said rather mysteriously while looking at Shahao. Shahao turned around and said, you seem to know quite a bit. Damn fatty, you know quite a bit, huh? Shahao was shocked. He felt like this fatty might have seen through Yu Chan's second body problem. I also heard that Immortal Palace's inheritor appeared in Goddess Academy, seemingly wishing to bring away a female disciple. Second baldly said. He had also visited that place, later on hurrying over here from the academy, courting death. Shahao sprung to his feet. Only now did he understand why Qing Yi hadn't appeared during these past few days. Turns out she was stuck inside the academy. Hey, what are you thinking of doing? Killing Immortal Palace's inheritor. The little rabbit jumped up with excitement. Going to Goddess Academy. Shahao said. He took the initiative to fly outwards. The little rabbit ran around frantically, wishing for the world to be in chaos. It was the first one to run after Shahao while jolting its buttocks. Second Baldy screamed from behind, saying, kill. Time to wipe out a demon. Huang stirred up great chaos in Fire Province, shattering the Heavens Mandate legend, cutting down Yu. This raised huge waves. A few great sects came here to investigate, sending out quite a few experts, all outstanding talents from their clans. Quite a few young heroes wanted to use this chance to personally see what Huang was like. Goddess Academy had become their place of lodging, because Qi Daolin's vicious name had traveled far. No one dared to trespass into that small shoddy monastery. Blood Sea's young master, Grassland's golden wolf, Sword Palace's holy lady, and the others hadn't left yet. A few more extremely powerful exceptional talents came as well. It truly is unexpected. Inside Goddess Academy, many students were discussing this. These past few days had been extremely lively. Not only did the elite disciples from all different sects come, there were a few young supreme beings that appeared as well. Then, Immortal Palace's inheritor graced them with his presence, triggering even greater winds. This was a well-known young supreme being in the higher realms. For many people, he was simply insurmountable. Origin Sky Secret Realms battle, because Immortal Palace's young Great One didn't use magical force, and instead fought with Huang using physical strength, resulted in him suffering a loss. Did he come for Huang? Many people were speculating the reason for his arrival. They were incomparably excited. If these two encountered each other, that would definitely be a great struggle between dragons and tigers. Blood was splashed high into the sky. It was also precisely because of Immortal Palace inheritor's arrival that Huang's reputation became even greater. However, some secret rumors went out that toppled everything they knew, different from what the great families thought. It triggered a huge commotion. The Immortal Palace inheritor that has been roaming the outside world was just a second body, not his true self. What? When news of this was leaked, this place was greatly shaken. Huge waves were stirred up. Soon after, the disciples of all sects immediately moved, sending the news back to their families. It was because the effects of this were too great. This was definitely world-shaking news. Everyone was stunned. They all found this hard to believe. The experts of different sects used all different methods to try and verify this, learning that this was leaked by Hidden Valley. They were immediately stunned, because that was a mysterious inheritance. They knew about all types of secrets, and they often sold this intelligence to those that needed it most. The insider information this inheritance leaked out, if one were to base it off of what they had exposed in the past, had about an 80% chance of being true. This is too terrifying. It was just the second body, yet he already had the power to reign supreme among his peers. If the main body appeared, how powerful would he be then? Moreover, news were released that Immortal Palace's main and second body were going to merge together. This was all for the sake of the great decisive battle of 3,000 provinces. Everyone became stupefied, feeling chills run from their heads down to their feet. Who could compete against this type of Immortal Palace inheritor? When all the sects received this news, all of the ancient sects, those that produced powerful exceptional talents, and were going to have them participate in the great battle of 3,000 provinces, began to carefully look into it. It was because Immortal Palace inheritor was someone who gave all of these great sects a huge headache. Why did he come here? Is it to kill Huang? His second body suffered a huge loss. Could it be that he wishes to fight against Huang now? Soon after, everyone felt that something wasn't right. Immortal Palace inheritor's visit to Goddess Academy this time seemed unrelated to the ripples that had been stirred. Many people frowned. He moved together with heaven-mending sect's holy lady, paying Qingyi several visits. There were actually intense disputes that resulted, because they wanted to bring her away. If not for Feng Wu rushing over and the Academy's elders appearing, the results would be too horrible to contemplate. Going too far, actually scheming against my Academy's ranked beauty. I support Huang in defeating Immortal Palace inheritor. I originally thought that Huang had been acting too carefree recently, but now, I also support him. It is best if he chases Immortal Palace's inheritor away. If the higher levels couldn't even protect an exceptional disciple, how could they call themselves a glorious great sect that had towered since the ancient times, one that overlooked 3,000 provinces? Senior, she is me, I am her. I am just asking to truly become one now. Does your distinguished self have the heart to stop this? Yu Chan's main body spoke, her voice calm and expression sincere. Since you are me and I am you, why would I be against it? The strong makes things difficult for the weak. You are yourself. I am Qingyi. On this side, Qingyi was quiet and calm, her appearance otherworldly. A green-colored imprint shone between her brows, making her appear even more extraordinary. The two of us only have a few small cracks. When we merge, everything will pass. Yu Chan's main body said, Senior, we really must bring this woman away. However, considering Goddess Academy's feelings, we will offer compensation. Immortal Palace's inheritor said. The elder shook his head and said, as long as Qingyi is unwilling, in my academy, it is our duty to protect our disciples. We will not allow outsiders to trouble her. Immortal Palace's inheritor was quite decisive, turning around to leave. I will return. His tone was extremely cold. Even when facing a senior expert that was close to the heavenly deity realm, he was still full of confidence, facing him calmly. It was clear that he wasn't going to let this matter go. He would definitely invite over elders of corresponding cultivation realms to demand an explanation. In the distance, many people were watching this closely. Even though they couldn't hear what these people were saying, they still received news that they wanted to bring Qingyi away. What right does he have to act so domineering? Immortal Palace really is something. Wasn't he even killed once by Huang? Right? When Supreme Hall was at its most glorious, weren't you all avoiding its radiance? Now all of you are pretending you are the ruler of the world. Who do you think you are? Many people were discontent, loudly discussing this matter. Of course, there were a few cultivators outside currently lodging at Goddess Academy who were partial to Immortal Palace's inheritor. No matter what, I will bring away Qingyi. When Immortal Palace's inheritor left, he said this coldly. Many people heard these words, immediately making quite a few people in the academy angry. This place became noisy, boiling with voices. In the past few days, Huang's name was just too widespread, shaking all areas. He dared to challenge the Celestial clan, drawing eyes from all directions. He was one of the most dazzling young supreme beings in the present age. Moreover, he was the only one that made Immortal Palace's second body suffer a great loss. Now that he appeared here, it triggered a huge sensation, making people excited. Supreme Being Dao Right's great senior brother has arrived. Things are going to become lively now. Even now, many people didn't forget the great senior brother events, and they also remembered that he was the freak that passed Goddess Academy's heavenly staircase. The two heavenly talents faced each other. This place immediately erupted with commotion. "It's you." Immortal Palace's inheritor raised his head, looking at Shahao, who floated in the air. His eyes were cold, the silver symbols in his pupils surging and interweaving terrifying radiance. "It's me. Even someone like you dares to act so domineering here, talking nonsense about bringing Qingyi away." Shahao shouted. His black hair was rich, his face delicate and handsome, his skin shining. He exuded a type of insurmountable confidence. Powerful divine might rippled outwards. When these words left his mouth, this place completely erupted, becoming even more bustling with noise. "Huang is so forceful, unexpectedly not fearing Immortal Palace's inheritor. This is an undisguised challenge, almost contempt." Many people were excited and stirred up, but there were also others that showed disdain. This place became extremely noisy. This type of greatness naturally produced a commotion. Everyone in the academy was startled, and the people staying at this academy temporarily were shocked as well, quickly hurrying over. Shahao's eyes flourished with brilliance, overlooking Immortal Palace's inheritor. "Even after being defeated, you are still acting so fiercely. If you aren't willing to give up, today, for Qingyi's sake, I will kill you." His black hair that fell down to his waist fluttered about. His eyes were bright and resplendent, exuding a type of domineeringness, not putting Immortal Palace's inheritor in his eyes at all. How many people dared to act like this, treating Immortal Palace's inheritor so casually? Everyone was shaken up. It was dead silent. Throughout the entire 3,000 provinces, just how many people in the younger generation dared to challenge Immortal Palace's supreme being like this, carry this type of contempt? The atmosphere was extremely tense. Many people were breathing heavily as they stared at these two extraordinary individuals. The great storm had arrived. An extremely hot-blooded great battle was about to start. Qiong Qiong. Immortal Palace's inheritor was high and mighty, unmoving as he stood there. However, hundreds to thousands of streaks of sword energy rushed forth from both sides of him. Five-colored divine multicolored light swirled about, creating a shocking scene. Supreme Hall has already wasted away, not an inheritance any longer. The so-called Dao Right's surviving members will be nothing more than a joke. His voice was ice-cold, his expression completely ruthless. A wave of killing intent engulfed the air, as if a great wave was battering against the heavens. It swept through this place. He towered there at the center of it all like a deity, his entire body flourishing with sword energy. Radiance shone resplendently. Not far out, Yu Chan's main body felt even more uneasy, her emotions even more restless than Immortal Palace inheritors. That youth definitely intentionally put his arms around Qingyi. In reality, she did have reason to suspect that Shahao and Qingyi acted so intimate, just for her to see, making her look bad. It was to the extent where she even saw a hint of ridicule in the other party's pupils. It was because when the main body and second body were close enough, they could exchange feelings. With them confronting each other like this, these effects were quite strong. When Shahao put his arms around Qingyi like that, Yu Chan's main body clearly felt as if there was an arm around her body as well, one that was tightly holding her. This type of experience, this type of feeling was just too terrible. It made her body immediately produce a layer of goosebumps. There had never been any man that had gotten this close to her before. Yu Chan's main body was surrounded by mysterious symbols, her graceful figure seething with waves of dense multicolored mist. It was hazy and holy, and there were even powerful fluctuations undulating outwards. She clenched her teeth and resisted it, wasted away. Shahao laughed loudly. He stared at Immortal Palace's inheritor, and then looked at Yu Chan's main body. Without any fear, he then shook his head and said, "You all really are lacking." Zheng. Divine swords supported the heavens, releasing ear-splitting sounds. Immortal Palace's inheritor stood there without moving, but in that instant, several hundred streaks of sword radiance swept over like a rainbow. It was incomparably brilliant, covering the sky as it arrived. Shahao's palm shone. A simple and unadorned symbol condensed, and then it ferociously struck downwards. Bone texts covered it densely, blossoming high up in the sky. This was the single stalk of grass sword intent. Bone texts formed sword energy, colliding with Immortal Palace inheritor's sword light. Jing-jing sounds rang through the air, and multicolored brilliance erupted. When they exploded, endless shooting stars emerged. This is so exciting. Two great experts are going to clash. A great storm will definitely move the 9 heavens. The 2 young supreme beings didn't go far, directly heading for Goddess Academy's martial arena to fight a battle on the sturdy elevated stage, to carry out a life and death battle. This triggered a huge sensation. All of the students in this academy rushed over, and there was even less of a need to talk about the guests from other clans. They all poured over. It was to the extent where a great commotion was even stirred in the open markets outside the academy. When everyone obtained news of this, they quickly hurried over to watch the battle. Who is going to win? Is the one that came Immortal Palace Inheritor's main or second body? Or is it the true body after they merge? I don't know. We have just arrived as well. None of us expected that such a great blood-stirring battle would happen so suddenly. Many people were excited, but quite a few people were stupefied. It was because this all happened too suddenly. A great battle that carried extraordinary significance was about to start. Immortal Palace was facing off against Supreme Hall. This was definitely a shocking event. Its importance was too great. These 2 ancient inheritances had stood against each other since the ancient times, and both of them were ridiculously powerful, exceeding the imagination of the people in this world. This was a battle that had continued for countless eras. Soon after, endless people gathered around the martial arena's surroundings, figures everywhere. The ones that came later had nowhere to stand, as this place was already completely packed. Many people had no choice but to fly high into the sky or stand in the distance. Huang is extremely powerful, never suffering a defeat since emerging in this world. Is he going to continue his legend? Everyone was shocked at how tender and beautiful she was, but there were still quite a few people who spoke out, refuting this. The little rabbit didn't back down at all, directly opposing them. He had been killed by Huang before. What does a little girl understand? Immortal Palace's inheritor will definitely become unrivaled under the heavens. The lunar jade hare then said, he was killed by Huang before. That is because he was just the second body, his main body not descending. He was killed by Huang before. If his true body personally came, who can suppress him? His fighting prowess is definitely unmatched. He was killed by Huang before. This simply became a vicious cycle. Those that supported Immortal Palace's inheritor crumbled apart. No matter what they said, this girl only had that sentence, he was killed by Huang before. The little rabbit didn't seem to ever get tired. Her large eyes were shining red. Many people became speechless. This sentence simply became a great killing weapon. On the martial arena, Yu Chan's main body's waist was feeling a slight pain, and then a wave of numbness. Her black eyebrows jumped, her beautiful eyes widening greatly. She truly wanted to cry out and brandish her sword outwards. She was simply angered to the extreme. It was quite clear that Fella was opposing her, yet Qingyi didn't oppose this. At this moment, the sword energy changed, becoming exceptionally sharp like wings. His speed became even faster. When he arrived, following a wing sound, the void trembled. Sword radiance swept out in hundreds to thousands of streaks, rushing out together. The temperature of this place immediately plummeted. This was a biting cold killing intent, and even more an extremely powerful sword intent. Shahao's eyes widened greatly. He also erupted with sword energy. Stalk after stalk of grass appeared in the void, suspending there, appearing incomparably green. They also released unending killing intent. When one reached his level of cultivation realm, no matter what precious technique he used, they would all be substantially different. There was even less of a need to talk about this mysterious grass character sword intent. The 2 experts clashed. Resounding noises trembled the heavens. Apart from the zhing-zhing cries of swords, there was also an extremely powerful clash of magical force that erupted with incomparable fluctuations. When the 2 individuals passed by each other, both of them revealed looks of shock. In that instant, Immortal Palace's inheritor circled back around. Like a divine bird, he swooped over again. This time, everyone saw this clearly, and they couldn't help but feel shock. The sword energy at his sides turned into wings. The sword energy was extremely terrifying. Hundreds to thousands of streaks of sword energy turned into scarlet red feathers. It was as if a phoenix was spreading its wings, bright red and glistening. They shone resplendently, releasing a pressure that made others feel like they were suffocating. Phoenix feather sword wings. Someone cried out loudly. This was one of Immortal Palace's secret methods that was not leaked outwards. It was extremely difficult to cultivate, and absolutely terrifying. When this type of sword wings formed, not only would one's speed be increased substantially, one's fighting strength would shoot up as well, making them difficult to withstand. The main thing was that its edge was too sharp, able to hack through everything in their way. Xiahao was shocked as well. It had only been a short time since they last met, yet Immortal Palace's inheritor learned another restricted precious technique. A pair of lightning wings appeared on Xiao's back. They looked like they were cast from gold, absolutely resplendent. They moved as well, bringing him over. A strand of chaotic energy could vaguely be seen between the wings as well. Others couldn't see through it, but Yu Chan's main body trembled inwardly. She knew that this was Xiahao, and so she understood that he was using the Kuan Peng wings, hiding it within lightning. The phoenix feather sword wings were facing off against the Kuan Peng wings. This moment seemed to have frozen for eternity. The two clashed violently, the King Qiong sounds splitting. The feathered wings crossed, sword energy surged into the heavens. Magical force swept out like an ocean. The sky was drowned out by rays of light. Everyone could only vaguely see two figures continuously colliding, their divine wings blasting each other in confrontation. In the end, both individuals backed up. Immortal Palace inheritor's eyes were ice cold. No one noticed it, but he wiped out a drop of blood from his neck. He almost had his head removed. Xiao's body shone with golden brilliance. Layers after layers of golden feathers appeared around the outside of his body, all of them formed from lightning. They swirled about him, releasing a powerful aura. Huang is so powerful, someone said with a low voice. Everyone could see that even though his age wasn't great, he unexpectedly reached this level. His power was clear to see. Not even the illustrious Immortal Palace inheritor could do anything to him. Immortal Palace's inheritor found it difficult to calm down. These phoenix feathers and sword wings, even though had only initially formed, no one was more clear than him on how terrifying they were. They were known to be able to hack through everything. Immortal Palace's inheritor's voice was gloomy, his eyes cold, carrying a merciless expression as he looked at Xiahao. He raised his right arm, and then his palm shone. With a Qiong sound, a scarlet-red divine sword appeared. His words were ruthless, enough to make any inheritor of a ruined sect seethe with anger. Even though Xiahao had only recently joined this sect, becoming the disciple of this supreme being Dao Right, when he heard these words, he still couldn't help but frown, feeling extremely uncomfortable inwardly. He stared ahead and said, Immortal Palace seems to be quite awe-inspiring, but why was a true inheritor like you still killed by a declining Dao Right's disciple like me? A scarlet streak of divine light rushed out, the edge incomparably sharp. Immortal Palace's inheritor slaughtered over while holding that divine sword shining with scarlet multicolored radiance. Xiao's words stung. Ever since he emerged in this world, he was known to be undefeated. He was one of the most powerful youth in the entire 3,000 provinces. However, in Origin Sky Secret Realm, he suffered a defeat. This was a stain. No matter how glorious he was his entire life, no matter how great of a realm he reached, he would always feel shame when this matter was brought up. Xiahao remained calm and unhurried. He raised his finger, and then an enormous streak of lightning hacked out, landing on that scarlet sword. Bone texts erupted between the two. A phoenix sound tore through the air. Immortal Palace inheritor's scarlet precious sword shone. This was not a real object, but rather a sword core formed from the phoenix feather sword wings. This type of thing was extremely sharp. The phoenix feather wings were known to be able to cut through all living things, so how could the divine sword produced by this type of precious technique be an ordinary object? Killing a similar level expert was no different from cutting a blade of grass. However, there were always exceptions, and Xiahao was clearly not a blade of grass that could be easily nipped. Kill! Immortal Palace's inheritor roared angrily. Phoenix feathers appeared around him one after another, scarlet red like blood. They turned into wings, and then the scarlet precious sword in his hands flourished with even more scarlet multicolored radiance, hacking down onto Xiahao. Xiao's eyes grew deep. His aura flourished, surrounded by countless streaks of lightning. The lightning spear in his hands became incomparably dazzling, starting to flicker with the most ancient and profound patterns. When the golden spear pierced forward, the golden spear's frame stopped the sword's edge. This place first erupted with metallic sounds that were incomparably ear-splitting, and then like lightning, rumbling sounds rang out unendingly. Immortal Palace inheritor's eyes were ice-cold. With a shio sound, the divine sword ferociously hacked down on the golden battle spear's long pole, and then the blade's edge even pierced forward with extreme speed. Fierce, accurate, vicious. Of course, this wasn't just an attack of weapons. It was accompanied with dense symbols that quickly spread outwards, erupting here. Shahao was calm. The golden battle spear was raised. It erupted with unimaginable divine force, forcing away the scarlet precious sword and blasting Immortal Palace Inheritor's arm until it was in great pain. A wave of numbness followed. Shahao's speed was too great. He held the spear in one hand, brandishing it about, using the lightning spear's blade to hack diagonally forward. It was because his divine force was unmatched. Even when using the spear like a sword, it was still enough to hack apart someone and then make them explode. At the critical moment, the scarlet feathers at both sides of Immortal Palace's Inheritor rushed out one after another, landing on the lightning spear to stop this terrifying strike. Just like that, the two of them fought great battles, one holding a scarlet-red precious sword, the other a golden lightning spear. Bone texts poured out like a tide, surging between them, producing powerful destructive force. Fortunately, this was Goddess Academy's sturdy and large elevated arena. Otherwise, the ground would have exploded. They tangled around each other like two flood dragons, fighting a life and death struggle. It dazzled the eyes of all of the spectators. "Kill him!" Second badly shouted, completely engrossed. His body was shaking as well, erupting with five-colored multicolored radiance. As for the little rabbit, her large red eyes had long become completely round, her attention completely concentrated on observing this battle. Cao Yusheng with the steamed bun-like face that looked simple and honest was also watching seriously, continuously nodding his head. Immortal Palace's Inheritor flew out diagonally. A bit of blood blossomed from his shoulder. This time, everyone saw it clearly. They were all greatly shocked. Huang was just too powerful. He had injured Immortal Palace's Inheritor under everyone's eyes. Everyone sighed. It seems like this time, it was the second body and not the main body, or the most powerful true body. "You are not my opponent," Shahao said coldly. With the war spear in one hand, he forced his way forward to kill Immortal Palace's Inheritor. Merge. Immortal Palace's Inheritor released a light shout. His entire body shone, and then his aura immediately became more powerful. Blood energy surged, as if a slumbering giant had suddenly awoken. Everyone became shocked. Why did he suddenly become stronger? Could it be that the true body came, just like what he had just shouted? The two merged. However, that didn't seem too likely. How could it be this fast? Damaged immortal seed. Everyone was startled, feeling extremely shocked. Every inch of Immortal Palace Inheritor's pores were surging with divine force, looking like a sun. There were phoenix feather sword wings at his sides, and an imprint was also forming in his hands, producing one of his sect's greatest techniques, the human immortal imprint. After Shahao withdrew, the radiance around his body dimmed. He was facing pressure. However, Immortal Palace Inheritor still didn't dare to truly refine this damaged seed. He feared that he would ignite a divine flame and directly ascend. If that happened, it would be extremely bad, because he wouldn't be able to participate in the great battle of 3,000 provinces. Moreover, even if he wanted to truly merge with it, he still needed time. Right now, he was just using this bit of blood to nourish his flesh. The true blood was still going to return to the depths of his body and be sealed back up. As expected, as time went on, his powerful aura declined. Shahao erupted with power, lightning radiance surging above his head, turning into 9 heavens, crushing down layer after layer to suppress and kill Immortal Palace's Inheritor. Everyone shivered inwardly in fear, witnessing for themselves why the Lightning Emperor's precious technique was terrifying. This was simply judgment in heaven's place, destroying all those who rebelled. The lightning radiance was too great. The world was covered in boundless radiance. Each time a layer of heaven descended, this place would rumble with noise. It was as if heaven and earth were about to shatter. Immortal Palace's Inheritor tried to resist this power, but his hair flew about in disorder. He suffered a great pressure. A lightning sword appeared in Shahao's palms. It took in and sent out golden radiance. He pointed it forward. Suddenly, his heart trembled. He felt a wave of fear, quickly retreating. Immortal Palace's Inheritor was also shocked. He felt as if great power had been infused into his body. If he released an attack, he could easily wipe out his enemy. Great One, hurry and take action, kill him. In the dark, someone transmitted to him. It was precisely an old servant, one that was loyal and devoted. Right now, he carried cold intent, not hesitating to provide assistance like this, secretly infusing magical force into Immortal Palace's inheritor. Everything was for the sake of killing Huang. This was Goddess Academy, and there was a heavenly deity here. He immediately sensed that something wasn't right. His eyes erupted with radiance. The old servant's eyes became cold. He clenched his teeth, persevering on to eliminate Shahao. However, in the end, he still backed off, resisting this impulse. If he exposed himself, with Qi Daolin's vicious nature, Immortal Palace would definitely lose their inheritor. Only now did the agitation within Shahao's heart fade. He said softly, almost forced me to use the protection symbol. It really is strange. Someone wanted to secretly harm me. Just as everyone felt as if this sword wouldn't be able to show any effects, the space between Immortal Palace inheritors' brows split open, producing a glaring redness. His pupils shrunk. An angry roar sounded. He did everything he could to defend himself, and he quickly backed up as well. His forehead split apart, blood pouring outwards. There was no armor covering that area. A formless sword intent that was unstoppable hacked forward, leaving him seriously injured. Moreover, the sword intent was surging, about to pierce into his skull and wipe out his primordial spirit. A streak of blazing radiance wrapped around him, making Immortal Palace's inheritor shift outwards. He avoided this disaster. Shahao was angered. Who is it that is interfering with our fight? He was about to kill his opponent, yet in the end, someone interfered, destroying the battle situation. Youngster, hot-tempered child, your anger is too great, lacking wisdom and self-cultivation. An old servant appeared. Resplendent radiance appeared in his surroundings. He stood there, looking at Shahao coldly. Shahao understood that the one who helped Immortal Palace's inheritor previously, the one that wanted to harm him to death before, was this old servant. He immediately berated, "Old thing, do you still have any face left? Are you going to take action in your master's place?" He didn't feel fear. If Goddess Academy's experts didn't want to involve themselves, he didn't mind using a realm-shattering symbol to leave. In addition, he released a formless pressure down on Shahao, trying to make him make a fool of himself. Of course, he didn't dare kill Shahao, because he knew that Qi Daolin was a lunatic. If he acted beyond what was appropriate, in the future, Immortal Palace might lose 2 or 3 generations of people. Meanwhile, he borrowed Immortal Palace inheritor's void halberd, cutting open the void to bring him away. He didn't want to remain here. Just a slave, yet you dare act like a great one in front of my supreme being bloodline. Despicable thing with no face or sense of shame. Even secretly taking action against my disciple. Are you not scared that I will directly slaughter 3 generations of your Immortal Palace? The void split apart, and a blurry expanse emerged. A large hand reached over, and with a peng sound, it grabbed that old servant, frightening him so bad his face immediately became miserably white like snow. His body began to convulse. Everyone was shaken up. It was clear that Qi Daolin came, taking action through the void. A string of events took place in such a short period of time. No one could have predicted this, all of them shocked. Immortal Palace's old servant had profound accomplishments, about to touch upon the heavenly deity realm, but right now, he was like a little chicken, grabbed by that large earthen hand. He was so frightened by that terrifying might, that his entire body was shivering. "Thou Master Qi, this is a misunderstanding. I just wanted to bring my Immortal Palace's inheritor away." He cried out loudly, "Misunderstanding my ass." Qi Daolin released a cold snort. That large hand slowly closed, and then with a cold voice, he continued, "Even a slave like you dares to act like this. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.